Hello, my name is just in audio. My name is Bryson Coleman. I'm part of Team GMG. This is the sprint review for Project and Portfolio 6, the first milestone. So it's all of October, so it might be a long one. First thing I did, or I guess I should pull up the game. The change list number is 981693. I'm just gonna open it up. First thing I did was implement the art for here, let me turn it down. First thing I did was implement the artwork for the main menu in the pause the main menu in the pause menu. Added little beats and bops and lighting up things as you select them, just to give more feedback to the player. And that was under task. 1 second, sorry. Task. GG532. And to that same vein, sorry. There it goes. Making sure everything here functioned properly in the build was something I was in charge of. So jumping into the first level that I was in charge of, go here, and that was the lighthouse level. So it's GG402 and GG446. We'll jump into GG402 first, just to get an idea of what I'm supposed to be doing. This is GG402. As a player, I want to be introduced to the core game mechanics, rescue the companion AI character, and be introduced to the world of the game within a 3 to 5 minute level. It has all of these completion criteria that I made into subtasks right here. And then there's GG446. As a player, I want better IPM inside of the lighthouse to introduce all core gameplay mechanics. So more combat, have areas that can be explored, so encourage the exploration of areas in some instances, and then incorporate buttons and levers. So in this case, it was the keypad, so making sure the keypad is well introduced properly. So jumping into the lighthouse level, as you start off, you got the controls: WASD to move, crouch, shift, and jump. So you can crouch, you can jump, and then first thing you see is this light, and if you walk up to it, it says the new prisoners here. And so having that little bit of feedback for that, and then I think I heard something at the window. This door is locked, so you can't go anywhere but the window. And walking to the window will let the music fade in.
Get me out of here.
Get the objective that you're supposed to go towards. So the ambiance of the music, I'm gonna turn it down to make sure my voice is coming across. So you can see the enemies down there, and if you turn around, you can see that the previous a way forward has opened. You got a little context clue to, hey, you should crouch here, and this opens up the abilities. Once I did the HUD, making sure the HUD in the bottom left was I implemented the art assets on top of the HUD, so making sure those work properly. So when you get out here, you can press G to do some ability, killing this guy, and then enemies that are defeated will drop loot. Make sure you pick it up. Introduction to the core gameplay loop, and if I turn up the volume, you'll hear it's a small little beat for feedback on, hey, you can loot this enemy. We loot them and continue forward. See this item shop, you get introduced. Item shops will appear throughout the game. Make sure you stop by in order to better equip yourself. And then you're like, okay, let's walk over there. Once again, a little beat for the interaction buttons. You can buy salts, you can buy ammo, but you can't progress forward until you buy a weapon. This is collectibles, so seeing green flashing lights, you will know that, hey, that's money. And so we can buy a weapon, which is 0. And buying a weapon unlocks the way forward, and this is the introduction of the shooting tutorial. I got hit, but back there was the tutorial for the Devil's Kiss ability. So now we're introducing, you can shoot as well in this game. So you can shoot and you can use your abilities in conjunction with each other. And killing these guys before walking forward, harder to reload, walking down the stairs, pretty linear. Right mouse button, zoom in. I changed the zoom in from a scope that was on the screen to this zoom in, just to make it a little bit easier. The inspiration behind that was it was going to be like Call of Duty, but we couldn't get the iron sights to work properly, so we switched the focus to more of a Halo assault rifle zoom in, and I think it turned out pretty well. And then right here is the introduction of the ability wheel, or the tutorial for the ability wheel. So you can't progress forward until you switch to the Murder of Crows ability. And then once you have it equipped, you can move forward. Then Murder of Crows can be used to stun enemies for a brief period of time. I'm gonna kill these together to prove a bug. You can see they're overlapping each other, and this was a bug where you could, like, if I interacted with him, I couldn't interact with this dude. So fix that bug. That was bug. It was this bug, GG379. So that bug has been fixed in this build. More items. You got ammo right here, and you're able to grab some items as you're progressing forward. And as you can tell, and I'll go to the item shop, as you loot things, you're hearing clicks and bops. Turn up the volume just a little bit to try to give you more feedback on what you're doing. If you have too much ammo, you can't buy anymore. If you have too much health, you can't buy it. So we're just adding all this feedback to try to better guide the player on to what they're doing. Ambiance with the music, and then assets being implemented with, the item shop being a lot better looking. Got rocks and foliage everywhere. So getting closer to final assets. Take out these dudes. This was the introduction of the blink, so the blink works inside the level. And that was another one. Incorporate the blink into the HUD. I'm gonna shut up and be quiet so you can hear the blink when it comes back next to your juice or salts meter. You hear a small little sound. Be quiet. So, and that dot is representing how many blinks. So you have 3 blinks you can use, and then as you use them, they'll regain over 5 seconds with a little bit of feedback every time. And then we have this next section where you enter into this building. You can hear an alarm go off. There's an enemy right here. The code to unlock the door should be on the computer. Oh, I should let this dude kill me. Here, this is what I'll do. Previously, there was a bug that if you died in here, you would not be able to re-enter the room. To fix this bug, I added a checkpoint, so just to show that that is working. So I'll restart, and just goes through the death animation. So this is the same thing that would happen if you died. You're able to continue along as if nothing happened. So the companion said when you walk in here, there's must be something on the computer. Walking over to the computer, you get the code for the key card. I added little sound effects for if the code is inputted incorrectly. And then it clears itself, and then you put it in correctly, get another sound effect, and then the door opens, alarm stops, and you're able to progress forward no problem. What's going on? Okay, there it goes. So she kind of guides you out of this area towards the lighthouse. There's more exposition here, trying to build that connection between the player and this allied character. Making sure I don't miss anything. Got the bugs, got the sound effects, our asset, the blink, more combat around the lighthouse area. This is considered the lighthouse area. Previously, this had no combat. And as we're progressing forward, you can see there are some enemies for you to defeat. As I've died, I got a weaker weapon. That's fine. We'll be able to do this just fine. That's done. Pop down. Get a little bit more ammo. And then walking on this. Companion walks up with you, got the lift riding up, and you're able to get more exposition between the worlds, making sure everything else is cool. So we had the lighting is more visible throughout, so you're not really blinded or lost whenever you're walking around. And a little bit more money. And you can kind of see where you came from. To polish better player-facing information with the companion trying to guide you towards this area. Murder of crows, shooting a weapon, lighthouse. I think that's everything that is needed to be talked about. A computer. So once again, the computer and the companion working together. So the code is 10. I'm putting the wrong code again. So once again, you gain the wrong code. Sound effect, and then if you put it in correctly, you get another sound effect, and you see another asset that was integrated from the artists who helped make this game. And that is it for that level. Okay. It closed out. I guess I clicked it twice. But still opening it from 981693. Just the same link. And then we're going into the sconce level, which is using the lever, more combat throughout the level, exploration being encouraged and rewarded, and then more companion interactions throughout the level to try to guide the player. So I'll go level, sconce level, and this dude, how can you speak to me? Don't worry about it, we'll find it. Let's do what now? So hopefully introducing a little bit of humor into it. Here we have a more expensive weapon, and all the ammo I can get. I can take the fucking if we want to save everyone. So just encouraging the exploration. Here I'll go back to the beginning, because when you started off, the first thing you see is the item shop, and then this red door. Walking to the red door leads up to here, and you're like, oh, maybe I should go up there somehow. And then if you go up there, you run up here. You got this dude. You can see a switch or something in there. See some switches near you. Perhaps one's close to you. You're like, oh, okay, maybe I need to go in here. And you're crouch, This is the switch. Shoot it to open up the door to begin with. So hopefully guiding the player well. And you can either jump off the balcony, or if you run back, you'll see another red door. And now that you've been introduced to switches, you're like, oh, how do I get in there? And the only room you haven't explored in this area is here. Walking to the left, you see another switch. This time I used the Devil's Kiss just to show that you can use either one. It's completely up to you. And that door is opened up. And you're rewarded with a chest with some loot inside of it. So yeah, you're able to explore whichever way you want. But continuing forward, you get a little bit more exposition. Ship you can use. You can either go straight or to the right. If you go to the right, you see this little courtyard area. Take a little help of money, and you're able to see a switch which you have been introduced to before this level. If you interact with it, you get a little cutscene with another switch, and you're like, oh, and you get a way forward. Hopefully you see this door, and if you go down below, you'll especially see this door with a wire leading up to here. And so either way, you'll hopefully be guided towards coming up here, flipping the switch, and then activating that switch. Wire kind of leading towards this direction. Then you go down, and you're able to find more exposition, another switch. See the Murder of Crows ability does not work, so you have to use either bullets or the sconce. Reason Devil's Kiss Murder of Crows ability doesn't work is because it can go through walls, so you could circumvent a lot of challenges by positioning yourself correctly and throwing out that ability. You are able to walk back towards the beginning of the level, and you're able to continue forward through the game, and then you're able to move forward, making sure I don't miss anything. The exploration combat is featured throughout the level. I'm probably getting attacked now that I'm thinking I died. Because at the bottom of this section there are a lot of enemies. I forgot to take before I got there. And then you're able to continue forward and there you go, and you're able to continue forward. Get a little bit of HP. So hopefully encouraging a lot more combat throughout the game. You're able to move forward. And when you get to this next section, you're locked behind. The area behind you is locked, so you can't go back, serving as a kind of a gate for the level. Get another weapon on the body, another carbine, ammo, once again, and you are able to come to this section. There's multiple ways to move forward. Taking out these two guys. So there's multiple paths through this area. You can go through here, go up this staircase. Oh my god, this is weird. Where's this staircase lead? And ultimately, you have to come to this building and interact with this switch, which will allow you to activate these blocks that you can jump on using the blink ability. This was a big departure. This used to be a zip line, but the zip line interactions kind of broke as development went on, so we opted to use the blink to get up here and you drop down, and as previously stated, you're now reunited with your companion character. There's more enemies. She's giving a lot of exposition. Get this, get them. You can see I'm running low. Hits the ride. And then right here, find the 3 switches to continue. So using the messaging to tell the player what they need to do. So we got 1 switch. See some staircases down here. You're able to go up here if you want to explore. There's more chests littered throughout the map. There's little spots where you can walk behind some rocks and get some loot or anything like that. And then up here, money. Another door. Drop down here. Coming in here. Start to see some smoke. She didn't block my way forward. And you're kind of using the design principles of like where you like limit the player's viewpoint to try to make this area feel a bit larger than it actually is. And when you walk through, you get to see a giant rocket that was alluded to throughout this level in this space, hopefully transitioning back into here where you're able to enter the next level. And that's what I worked on in the sconce level. Hopefully touched on everything, using the lever, using the combat, using exploration, companion, talking to the companion, with the easy a better transition into the next stage. And finally is the boss fight. Shout out to Nazir. I worked on this area, making it a little bit more fleshed out with little computer stands, and you can see your companion walk over here. And you're like, what is that? And then you get the message to press O to start the fight. Buy this. Buy some salts. I can't afford no salts, but that's okay. So we're just gonna go through the boss. I was in charge of this area, and then these points right here, which serve as respawn points. The actual layout was designed by Nazir Vargas of Team GMG, and hopefully the boss is a little bit more easier with more space and with more resources, as now the resource points give you HP alongside ammo. So hopefully it's a bit easier so players can navigate, especially with a higher damage weapon. Quickly try to take out this ammo. And as you get the HP down, you can hear the music kicking in, and the atmosphere has changed. As you can see, the skybox has changed after the second phase. Throughout the area that gives you ammo and HP to help you during this boss fight, so you can finish hopefully a little bit easier. of a time. I think I'm just saying the same word. Once again, I was in charge of these points right here in the actual like arena and the implementation of the credit sequence within the. I'm recording. I'm recording stuff for school. And then ending the game with the credit sequence, and that's all that I worked on within the stage, making sure the boss fight transitions smoothly to the credit sequence. And so, yes, ammo, health, credits. I think that's everything that I worked on during this experience.
Hello, this is Joseph Bruno Torres, and I will be going through the tasks that I did for this milestone. This being the final build through change list 981693. Uh, First, I did some improvements. As a player, I need more defined introduction, practice, and mastery inside the illumination guide level. Summary. Uh, whilst whilst playing the illumination guide, the mechanics allowing the player to progress through the level are unique to this level alone, which they no longer are. What is expected? This level should include game mechanics present in prior and later levels to encourage the IPM model of level design. What actually happens this level only gives the player button along with lever puzzles, which are only present in this level. Steps to replicate: load into illumination guide level from this level select menu. Inside the menu, play through the level. Know that the mechanics present in this level are unique to this level alone, which has changed. The risk level was medium. Completion illumination guide level includes companion hacking to allow level progression for the player, which is the only one that I felt like keeping in the level. I tried the illumination guide. There's clues now in the level, more clues as to how the player needs to progress. But the illumination guide includes a tunnel for the player to crawl through as an optional route to reach an unreachable area. I had implemented it, but it turned out to be redundant and didn't really fit the 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 game. So I omitted it, and here these are done. I spent a whole day doing that one. For the next one, GG 506. As a player, I need more to find introduction, practice, and match mastery of mechanics present in previous, as well as later levels inside the enemy compound level. Summary: in the enemy compound level, the mechanics present for the player to progress through the level are only present inside enemy compound. What is expected? Mechanics present in previous and later levels are present inside the enemy compound to encourage the IPM level design model. What actually happens? This level only has mechanics unique to this level available to the player for the player to progress through the level, which is no longer true. Added a little bit more. It was a medium risk. completion criteria, a computer desk. I omitted the computer desk for the companion to hack in order to open the next door. I omitted it because it took too much time away from the player. The sconce. One sconce is present at the end of the level to open up the offices, one of the offices, in order to introduce this mechanic to the player. I omitted it because the sconce, if didn't feel right, the sconce level comes way later to the player, it becomes evident, and by then this mechanic is forgotten. So I omitted it inside this level. At the end of the level end door, which leads to into one last encounter with a corridor for the player to crawl through in order to get into the level end room. And I omitted all three of these. I tried them, and they are some of my tasks. The Zeppelin is not present because I spent a lot of time getting the enemy and character models that we got from our artists. I've spent a good few days trying to get those to work, and I just today got working models, and that's 7, 8, 9 tasks right there. This we had to omit. I was not able to finish. I have 3 hours left, but I had to spend a lot of time with the artist models trying to circumvent what we had gotten as a companion AI avatar. I want to be able to interact with the. It's not done. The only thing is that the avatar does follow at a maximum range, and for enemies, the enemy AI should be more interactive when considering their behavior. These I was not able to get the companion to equip the player or the enemies to act in tandem when one is shot for others to be warned as well. I was not able to get that. And but this was the first I finished. Um I took the whole hour and 25 minutes. When an enemy is killed, their body is hidden underground, making it difficult to find the lootable objects, which ended up working in our favor. Because we have too many lootables. Um, Sometimes that it being hidden actually works in our favor. Now that we have, I went in and uh, worked with a system that Bryson had put in for the weapons to do different damage. When an enemy is defeated, they leave behind a loot object on the floor visible to the player that will despawn after emptied or after a certain amount of time. It doesn't despawn after emptied, it only despawns after 30 seconds. Actual result: when an enemy is defeated, the body loot object is sometimes under the ground, resulting in the player having a hard time finding the loot objects. I believe the enemy despawns eventually, however, the body is still hard to see. Steps to replicate: begin the game and find an enemy. Defeat enemy via gun or abilities. Observe enemy corpse. Severity was slow, and enemy bodies are evident to the player upon eliminating said enemies, which they are now. And I will show this in the final build we built today. 981693.
Hello, my name is Devin Sweether, and this is my sprint review. My first user story was as the player. I want to experience more engagement when I am playing through the traversing levels so that I am not bored. First completion criteria was to add more levels, second was to add more loot, third add more interactables. And an issue I had that I fixed was the player stuck in ground after teleporting, so I'll show that as well here. So as you can see, things got stuck on the ground after teleporting. There's also many more enemies in this level than there previously was. Which also are following that paths. And there's more item shops that you could shop from. And there's many more loot. And there's more. Many more chests and many more loot in this level as well. So that finishes this user story. Moving on to the next user story. As a player, I want to experience more balanced combat in the traversing level, so I am not overwhelmed and facing a group of enemies. I did add more enemies, as I previously shown. Within the loot, I did add more ammo, more areas to hide, different types of enemies, lower enemy damage, lower enemy health, increased player weapon damage, increased enemy combat areas. Oops, yeah, that was dead. So in this build, since I can't show the stats of my gun, it's a little difficult to show that I increased damage and decreased their damage, but as you can see, I varied their health with all the enemies, and you can see that there's different color enemies which do different things. Some shoot projectiles and some are only melee, so there are different so there are enemies with lower damage, lower health, that did increase their weapon damage, increased enemy combat areas. There's more enemies and more areas for combat in this level. And then I did show that there was different types of enemies. The other thing on this issue to show is the more areas to hide. So as you can see, in this level alone, there's several walls to hide behind. Over there in that platformed area, there's also more areas to hide. So that completes this user story. And now moving on to the next. As a player, I want to experience more engagement when I'm playing through the Spotlight Callison level, so I'm not bored. Add more enemies, add more loot, add more interactables, and then fill in the long, empty walking areas with more objectives. So if we move to the yellow level. One thing I wanted to do was incorporate blink in all the levels. That was another issue that I fixed, which is, as you can see, working. There's plenty more loot than there was before, plenty more enemies, which fills up this long area of walking. So more loot, more enemies, long areas of walking, more interactables. So there are more weapon shops in this one than there previously were, and there's puzzles that use keys that were in previous levels as well. So that completes that user story. Add blinks to all levels. The door in this level was not opening properly, which that is also fixed, so I will show that. And then the other user story that I did for this level As a player, when I experience more balanced combat in this level, so I'm not overwhelmed when facing a group of enemies, I did show there's more enemies, more ammo, which is included in the loot, more areas to hide behind, which I'll show you throughout the level, different types of enemies, which, like shown in the traversing level, different colors indicate different types, lower enemy damage, lower enemy health. You can see the varying health on the enemy's health bars, but you cannot see in the build of the game the lower damage that they do. Increased player weapon damage, and increased enemy combat areas in Spotlight Talisman level. So all of these areas were filled with more combat areas. And all this walking is filled with more things to do, and you can also blank. More item shops, more loot, more enemies. I believe this one of these, this one, has the key. So now we have the key. We can go ahead and unlock the door. You could, it's recommended to fight those enemies as well. Okay, so I showed how the door is working properly. I also showed the increased combat areas. You could tell by that how quickly my health goes down. Their weapon damage is more than previous levels, or previous builds. You could also tell that they do, and so you could tell by the way that their health goes down, that my weapon does more damage. You can tell that they do less damage by how much their health goes down. You could see that their health varies. There's different types of enemies, different colors, different sizes, which do different things. The red ones are melee only, the blue ones and the white ones shoot projectiles. There's more areas to hide behind. And this is this user story done as well. So that's all my the 3 issues and my 4 user stories with 8 subtasks, 4 and 3 subtasks as well. Thank you.
Hello, this is Scott Rodero, student at Full Sail University, and this is my Sprint 2 final video. As you can see, I have Confluence up on the left of my screen, and there were a number of assignments that were voted down or we abandoned because of time constraints, but I think I have enough hours for the tasks. Shields was abandoned because of time constraints. Worked on it for a day. This is the history. Last worked on it on October 17th. Companion speaker lines. The group voted down to do audio lines because there was, again, little time. And I spent 3 hours on that. Teleportation. I spent 2 hours on that and I got teleportation working pretty good. Reduced the amount of times people could abuse it. And the code pads interface, we changed that to the E button as opposed to enter, which made it super easy. Remove the level, and over here, GG518, I troubleshot for an entire day between the 13th and recorded lines with my daughter. That was the 3-hour one. Uploaded WAV files to Unreal. They actually turned out to be MP4 files, but I uploaded them. And those were files for the credits at the end of the game. Inform level designers to implement. Group voted against voiceovers. Use tags on each level that teleport is used to restrict teleportation. And basic weapon. This took a lot longer than I thought it would. It took 2 days. I had 2 days slotted for it. I thought it would only take 1 day. At this point, I was able to spawn with a gun in all the correct places on the map. And I implemented instancing with the gun, attempted to do so. I worked on that for actually 3 days. I logged 1 day, 6 hours, but I actually worked on that for the better part of a week. So let's see where my time went. GMG working project EXE, build 981693. Let's play. I'm going to do some hopping around because most of my stuff is in lighthouse level and in traversing level, and throughout the game as instancing acts as a mediator between things that are saving and things that are loading. In the lighthouse level, you're spawned without a weapon. That was my work. There's new prisoners coming in.
Help! Get me out of here!
That's my daughter's voice. something I did. The item shop, basic weapon. This basic weapon that spawns on respawn. That was my idea, and I got that to work through the respawn mechanic. got updated by the artists. Again, in Lighthouse level. Oh no. I'm sorry. That's not correct at all. Oh, I accidentally hit credits, which is a good thing because I spent quite a bit of time on credits, though it wasn't logged. I estimate I spent about 6 hours on compiling and making credit videos, and then I spent another 2-3 hours learning to get them onto a widget in an MP4 file. Once the credits play, it goes back to the main menu. Now, traversing level is where I have some more fun. I made these sparks so you can see where you're teleporting to. And the teleportation is unlimited, no cooldown, but it's a 2-button press, so very difficult to use in combat. It's mostly for traversing the level. Oops, I forgot to pick up a gun. I'm gonna die. This won't do. I died anyway. I always die. Okay. Let's see. Where do I go from here? It's a little oversized. let's see how teleportation works, and it works well on the level. And the 184 of accumulated currency is currency accumulated from all levels due to the instancing that I was able to make work. Going behind the scenes to look at the instancing. On the traversing level, in the level blueprint, setting variables from game instance. This is when you come in from the level before. Game instance sets money, ammo, and salts, or juice, if we don't want copyright infringement, at the beginning of the level. Then I have a dynamic level name selection and comparison with a static name for teleportation to be enabled. I also have the player respawn gun. And that's everything in that blueprint. What isn't there, though, is the exit condition. The exit condition blueprint is saving first-person character variables to game instance. And here you can see the money, ammo, and salts are all transferred from the player reference and set into the game instance. And thank you for watching my video. I had an amazing time making this game. Thank you very much and have a good day.